Versus. It's a new show on the Anfield Wrap, and I've got two heavyweights with me today. So
in both senses of the word.
3 senses of the word. Versus is a new show, so it's a bit of a debate show where we pick 2 subjects that our contributors are both passionate about, and we'll discuss it. But today it is Robbie Fowler versus Michael Owen. And we're going to have a big chat about it. Robbie Fowler, 183 games for Liverpool. 183 goals for Liverpool, 128 in the league, 369 appearances. Played for Liverpool from 1992 to 2002, and then a second spell from 2005 to 2007. Michael Owen, 158 goals in total, 118 in the league, 297 appearances, and he obviously went on to other Premier League clubs.
I think that says it all, doesn't it?
I'm going to start with you and your argument, Kev, in favour of Robbie Fowler.
The greatest Scouse player ever, I'd say. Even surpassing Gerrard for me. He's when he first came onto the scene, he was exactly what the club needed after a period of absolute... It was basically devastation, from going from 15 years of domination, from 77, probably even longer, 20 years of domination maybe, from the end of Shankly right the way through to Roy Evans, and 1992 winning the FA Cup, which was, we done okay, but wasn't exactly, we were lighting fires like we are now. And then Robbie Fowler comes, and everyone knew about him in the city. It's like, a bit like Owen, to be fair, but everyone knew we had this kid who was coming along, and when he come onto the stage, you knew it wasn't if he was going to be special, it was when he was going to be special. And then he comes along, and then his first couple of games knocks 5 past Fulham. What more can you ask for than that? And
John, Michael Owen for you, scores in his debut. Big hopes. We'd seen a lot of Owen with the Youth Cup and that team. But I think everyone knew Owen was going to be special, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and I think, people talking about, I remember articles in the local papers about him kind of coming through. That Youth Cup really puts him on the map, doesn't it? I remember him playing for England youth teams as well, and everyone in our school watching it on, on Sky or whatever, which is mad really, and it was like a England under-17s tournament. And it was a home nations one, wasn't it? And just watching him tearing a few teams apart there and just getting so excited about him. And what was amazing about Owen, and to be fair, Fowler as well, is made a debut just like, this is where it belongs straight away. And I think that's what the very best players do. And we are talking about 2 of the very best before we argue which one is better. You just arrive and just go, this is where I'm meant to be. You might have 10 years more experience than me, you might have, all this and that, but I'm the main guy, I'm the fella who's going to score goals. And he scored a hell of a lot. Yeah.
So the numbers between them are pretty similar. Robbie Fowler plays more games, 369, gets 183 goals. Michael Owen plays, 72 games less, but gets 158 goals. Kev, what for you separates Fowler from Owen?
So Fowler and Owen both had the same issue in the end. They ultimately were done by injuries. But Fowler was done by injuries and managed to recreate himself and managed to keep on scoring goals. Whereas Owen had his injuries and just fell off a cliff because, listen, Michael Owen was a great player, as you say. I want to rip him apart because I can't bear him. And I think a lot of Liverpool fans will probably be on my side on that, and everyone loves Robbie Fowler. But Robbie Fowler, when he came onto the scene, was absolutely rapid. I think it's forgotten now how fast he was when he first came onto the scene. He played with Ian Rush, one of our greatest, and he learned everything there was to learn off Rush, took that, and in my opinion, then improved on what Rush was doing as well. So he scored the goals where he burst away from a defender, no problem. But then Robbie Fowler also scored the goals where they take your breath away. I'm thinking the ones like against Aston Villa, he scored a couple where he's done the little drag back behind his leg against Steve Staunton to send him for the echo, bang right in the top corner in an FA Cup semi-final at Old Trafford. He scored a very similar one at Anfield as well against Villa again. The goal against Bromby in the European game, probably a lot of viewers may not have even seen it, but he takes a throw-in from the left-hand side, a throw-in from the left-hand side is given to him, and he flicks it up with his left foot over the defender, runs onto it and slams it into the back of the net. He wasn't just a great goal scorer, he was also a scorer of great goals, which I don't necessarily think Owen was.
And what separates Owen from Fowler for you?
Sorry, I'm just getting some league stats up there because I disagree that Owen kind of fell away after his injury. But anyway, I think what separates Owen from me is that killer instinct and the big goals when it matters. I think, Fowler, you're talking about a lot of his best goals against teams that, Bergen, like what, what I mean? Like, obviously they need beaten, but I think the bigger the occasion, the better Owen played, and I think that's what sets him apart to me from a lot of strikers. You know, there's strikers, we've been lucky throughout our history, a lot of strikers, good ones, you know, scoring goals, exciting, you know, and getting 20 or 30 a season is no mean feat, but it just felt with Owen, for me, the bigger the occasion, the better he played. There's obviously the 2001 FA Cup final, most famously, you know, Michael Owens won the cup all on his own and all that, but plenty of other occasions as well, you know, going away to Rome, a fantastic team they were, winning 2-0, he gets both of them, and he just felt like, as I say, the bigger the occasion, the bigger the events, the more we needed him, the more Owen stepped up, and I think that's just what kind of sets him apart for me.
And just to counter that point then, so you say there, scoring 20 and 30 goals a season is no mean feat. You're right, it isn't, because Robbie Fowler done it a number of times. Yeah. He scored nearly 30 goals in 3 different seasons. Do you know what Michael Owen's best number of Premier League goals was in a season?
I think, is it 19?
19.
He gets over 20 in all comps 5 times.
And that's fine. But when we talk about Mohamed Salah last year, and that last year and the year before, we're talking about him winning the Golden Boot in the Premier League. And listen, I understand the Premier League then was a lot more defensive, but there's only 4 years difference between them. Robbie Fowler's best year in the Premier League is 28 goals. And listen, I know you how much you love Robbie Fowler, I know you're arguing for Michael Owen here, but Owen was very much not a one-sick pony, because that is to do him a disservice. But when he was figured out, it was difficult to deal with him, but there could be a plan put in place. With Robbie Fowler, you could cross the ball in, like Stan Collymore used to do week in, week out for him. He'd score with his head, and the next minute he'd dribble around 3 players and knock one into the bottom corner. He was that type of goal scorer. Whereas with Michael Owen, he needed I'm not going to say he needs the high line to score against, because he proved time and again that he could do it against different oppositions. But for me, he's not in the same league as Fowler as a natural goal scorer.
Look, as you say, I love Robbie Fowler, but I think I like him, like I just like him as much as I did like him as a footballer, and I think that sort of clouds us. I'm not saying like we kind of, you know, we over-egg him or nothing, because he was Robbie Fowler, do you know what I mean? His record, especially in those first few years, speak for himself. But I think we almost diminish Owen because, you know, the things that come later. I don't think you can forget what an amazing player he was, you know, from especially from 98 to 2003. You know, when in that treble season, you know, it's obviously Fowler has his problems with injuries and stuff like that, but it is Owen that Houllier goes for, you know, when it really matters, when the chips are down. It's him who he picks. Obviously Fowler ends up kind of moving out, and Owen just seems to be like his go-to guy kind of when it really matters, really. And Owen's the one where when it was, you know, when Fowler comes through, yeah, it's all exciting, but we don't really win anything. And that's not his fault necessarily, but when Owen comes through, suddenly the trophies are coming, and suddenly kind of, you know, we're winning things. And I think he's just, he's got ice running through his veins, Michael Owen. I just think in terms of, you know, if there was a one-on-one to, you know, in a big game to kind of, you know, to I mean, life depended on it, I think I'd go for Michael, because I just think he was a player that things seem to happen for, whereas Fowler, you know, he's I don't want to call him a cult hero, because that's like, you know, Eric Meyer's a cult hero, do you know what I mean? But he's almost like he's our boy, and we love him, and he's a scally, and he broke through, and he was great, and we love all that about him. But in terms of like trying to look at it from a kind of, you know, in independence, they're just 2 fellas who play football. I just think Owen had that edge. Just
sorry to counter again, and I don't want to seem like I'm picking at you, but we're here to debate. So let's debate. You say there that Robbie Fowler, so that Michael Owen was Gerard Houlier's go-to guy in 2001. Yeah. Well, he doesn't start the League Cup final. We haven't won a trophy for 5 years at that point. Yeah. The League Cup final was one of mine and probably yours best days out of that as a 21-year-old lad. I was made up to be back in a major final. It felt like, I know we've just gone 7 years without winning a trophy, but at that stage I'd just gone through secondary school and uni, and it felt like a lifetime. Last time we'd won a trophy, I was a boy, and I felt like a man at this one. And the team that starts that one is the 2 up front, is a Heskey and Fowler. And Fowler scores that absolute worldie from about 30 yards where he lobs it over the goalie. Yeah. Michael Owen doesn't get the start in that, so therefore I don't know what that says about. I don't think it was an injury because he was on the bench.
He was on the bench, yeah.
And does Owen score that goal? I don't think he necessarily does. So I think that shows that you can say he's a cult hero, but managers trusted him because you do trust it. He's one of the greatest finishers of football the world has ever seen. And I don't. Listen, there's some hyperbole from me because I agree with you. For me, he's like a Scouse god. Yeah. But the fact that he's a Scouser gets him more points, obviously, because I'm a Scouser. But that's to do with this service, because the level that he got to in probably the first 4 or 5 years of his career, we were very fortunate to see it, and I don't think Owen ever got there.
Yeah, I don't think Owen shined quite as bright. I think that's fair. Those first few seasons, you know, when you watch him Fowler, he did kind of take your breath away. Really, I'm not going to argue with that. I think Owen had those bigger moments though. Owen had those things that I think why he wins the European Football of the Year and why, you know, he was known kind of throughout the world as a world superstar rather than Robbie was kind of ours really, was because he had these kind of big moments. You know, there's obviously, we're here talking about the Liverpool careers, but his England career is like absolutely phenomenal. There's the goal against Argentina, you know, there's the goals out in Germany. I think he ends up with 40 for England, which is absolutely brilliant. And, you know, he was able to kind of do that on the biggest possible stage. And I think, you know, what we saw with Fowler was incredible, and you know, we might never see something like that again kind of from a teenager, but I think Owen almost made more of kind of what he had really. I don't think he was quite as good finisher as Fowler maybe, but he was able to kind of make so much of kind of what he had, and I think that was because of something in him and like this drive. He had this amazing kind of self-belief really, and this kind of incredible will to win that Owen had. I think he maybe was a bit more of a winner, whereas Fowler just wanted to enjoy his footy.
Sorry, Kevin. Do you think what sets them apart is the Ballon d'Or? If you're talking about global status, all that sort of thing, do you think the Ballon d'Or tips it for Owen, or?
Absolutely not, and I'm not just saying that because I'm arguing with Robbie Fowler. Listen, I want Virgil van Dijk to win a Ballon d'Or this year because it's a great personal accolade. But when Michael Owen won that and brought it on the pitch at Anfield, but I want to sound heartless, I didn't care. So what, like, that's a personal accolade, and they shouldn't be celebrating football the way a team accolade is. And the only team accolades that matter are the League, the European Cup, the FA Cup and the League Cup. So it's an unbelievable achievement to win it, but it very much feels like something like the Ballon d'Or comes from a persona that you put out as much as it is on the football pitch. And Michael Owen very much felt like he was a manufactured persona from a very young age, whereas Robbie Fowler didn't give a shit, you know what I mean? Robbie Fowler gave us moments like celebrating by sniffing the line against Everton, one of my best ever derby moments. And listen, football's about emotion, isn't it? It's not just about the cold hard facts of win or lose, it's the emotion that you feel while you're watching a game. And Robbie Fowler made every Liverpool fan in the whole world, be it Scouse or be it non-Scouse, glow inside with the things that he done, both on the pitch and also off the pitch. All the stuff with like the dockers and that he did. Listen, I'm sure Michael Owen's done loads of stuff for charity, but Robbie Fowler went out of his way at a time when it was very difficult in the city for certain people to survive and decided to help them. So they're the things that make it not just a cult hero because he had the ability as well, a real Scouse hero.
But there's one thing I'm almost certain on, John. I think that if you put the two of them, Liverpool fans, and go, who do you prefer?
Yeah.
I think he'll always win, Fowler.
Look, Michael's not winning any popularity contests anytime soon, is he? And we know that. And it's because Robbie, you know, it's everything that Kev's just said there. It was the player he was, it was the style of player he was, it was an exciting footballer to watch, amazing skills, the fact that, you know, he never forgot his roots, the fact that it felt like one of us kind of player on there, everything he did. I'm not going to argue with any of that, you know what I mean? I'd rather go for a pint with Robbie, definitely, like, you know what I mean? But as I say, if it was a finish that my life depended on it in a big game, I just feel like I'd go for Michael, and I just feel like, you know, there was when it really mattered. I think Owen was the kind of the one who stepped up really, and that's not to say that, you know, to diminish someone's goals, because, you know, goals win games, and, you know, it's 3 points whatever win, but it just felt like, you know Owen was the one who, you know, as I say, got the big goals in the finals. Owen was the one who got the big goals, kind of, you know, really difficult places to kind of go to and things like that. And I just thought, as I say, that them ice going through his veins just made him give him that little bit of X factor.
I think it's a debate that'll rumble on this one. Give us your feedback. I don't think it's one that you put to a vote because Liverpool fans will very much win the popularity contest and Fowler. But I think in terms of both players, both fantastic for Liverpool. Okay, that's been the first edition of Versus. There'll be plenty more of these on the Anfield Wrap coming soon.